You know, I see a lot of posts, as many of you all do, on this here, on this here app. But I want to say, you know, little post that's been going around talking about they should send the deadbeat dads. Let me take my shades off. I've always been taught by daddy to look people in their eyes when I'm talking to them. I'm over here with Wilson Bay Park, you all, and nobody was here. And as soon as I parked, anyway, fam, let me tell you this. They're talking about deadbeat dads. Send them out, the ones that don't pay child support in particular, send them off to war. Particularly whatever the president has trumped up now, right? Now check this out. Let me give you my thoughts on it. My thoughts on deadbeat dads. I'm here in Jacksonville, North Carolina, but I was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. Yes, born and bred. Now let me tell you this. Jacksonville, North Carolina, they have this thing where they'll have the sheriff's department to get on the TV, right? They're hunting for deadbeat, for they call, this is their name. They're hunting for people who owe child support, men and women. And I'm like, for the life of me, you putting out all this broadcasting time for people who have not paid child support. Meanwhile, you have all these excuse me, these crimes being committed. If they locked up, how are they going to pay child support? But people, child support is not, as I know a lot of y'all know, I'm not insulting anyone's intelligence. I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. But a lot of y'all know that it's more than money. It's more, when they talk about deadbeats, the first thing they talk about is money, but it's more than money for a child, all right? It's much more important things. Their time, because their time that you give them is going to go into memories that no one can take away from them. But I just want to say, while we want to cancel and send the deadbeat dads out to war, why don't we send the deadbeat moms out to war? What deadbeat moms, you ask? I'm so glad that you asked that. I'm talking about the deadbeat moms that cannot take care of their child. You know, the ones that send them off to but okay. So let's talk about the deadbeat moms. It's a world full of deadbeat moms. Some are even deadbeat moms before they even give delivery. All right, but I want to say something to you. You all are saying, some of you all are saying, you want to send the deadbeat fathers, deadbeat men, you want to send them off to war, right? You want to go and send them off to war to protect millions of other people, like myself and you, when they can't even take care of $150 a month child support. How about that? Really? So what makes you think they're going to be responsible? You know, that I compare that to saying, seeing someone needing a quarter and saying, man, you know, if I was rich, or if I went, when I win the lottery, you know, I'm going to be giving. How about being giving before you win the lottery? All right? But I just want to say this. Let's talk about the deadbeat moms, the deadbeat mothers. Should the same be applied? Where are we going to send them to? You know, the ones who refuse to care for their child. You know, if the father is there or not, they refuse to care for them. And some of them, when the father is there, they really refuse to care for them. It's all about them. You know, those kinds. Or what about the ones that They leave their children to be raised, or their child to be raised by everybody other than themselves. And especially on that Friday night when they drop them off, okay? Haven't even fed them for the day. Haven't even fed them breakfast. Haven't even fed them breakfast for school. Come on now. What are we going to do about those deadbeats? Are they not deadbeats? How about, let me just digress for just a moment. Because you know what? Big Mama is, and the ones who knows. In my chat, you know. Big Mama, how is it that Big Mama back in the day, she didn't need no help. She didn't need no welfare. She didn't need no WIC. She didn't need no EBT. She didn't need no, the deadbeat mammies that worship their sons and wish misfortune on their daughters. Raise your hand if you've experienced this. Come on. How about the deadbeat mammies? Who get hundreds of thousands of dollars on EBT, hundreds or thousands of dollars on EBT just to sell them or to use them for their bat wings and their wigs and their weaves and their toes. In their Birkin bags. Let me tell you something. A bag is a bag is a bag. You have a Birkin bag and you have a bag from Walmart. You can still put stuff in it. Nothing is going to drop out of it. So what's the problem? I don't understand it. All right? Or, the ones who sell their stamps in exchange for all that nonsense. Or the ones who leave their children at home for hours, days, or nights. Let me tell you a true story. This is a true story. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan at Camp Kinzer at the towers. We lived up high in the towers, right? What we call the towers. They were apartment buildings with elevators. Now, I had came home and I had picked my daughter up from the daycare and everything, and she was less than 2 years old. She'll tell you this. We were coming out the elevator, and I always tell my baby, stick close to mommy, right? Don't veer off. And we had gotten into the elevator. The elevator opened, and before I knew it, my daughter was in between stops because people were getting on. And she darted out the elevator. And before I knew it, listen. No, that's not what happened. Picture this. We was in the elevator, okay? And we were getting ready to, go up to our apartment. When all of a sudden, I believe when I got ready to get on the elevator, there were stops in between. People were, another person had got on or something like that. But in that split second, however it happened, my daughter was outside the elevator. This little bitty thing outside the elevator, right? You talk about somebody panic. I was in my full uniform, utes and boots, okay, utilities and boots, all right? I got off that elevator. I could hear her crying. I could hear her, right? I got off the elevator and I ran. I could, see where she was going, and I ran the steps. I was hauling, but going the doing those steps, right? And when I got to where she was at, when I got to the other floor, there was someone who had just opened their door, and she was, they were just getting ready. She was just getting ready to whatever, but she was right there at their door, and I scooped her up. Are you talking about somebody who had panicked? So I don't understand, some of the stuff that these people be talking. I don't understand how you cannot care for your child, how you can leave your child, alone, how you can leave your child, alone, especially a small child, toddler, infant, or whatever. But I'm just saying, back to the deadbeat mammies, so I believe there are just as many deadbeat mammies as there are deadbeat dads. So What do we do with the deadbeat mammies? And last, I have a question for you. If you had to pay for the sins of your mother or the sins of your father, which one would you select and why? Comment down below. Let me know how you really feel. Let me know how you really feel. All right?